Hello and welcome to our live stream. We'll get going in about 1 minute. I'm here with offensive lineman Colin O'Carroll. It's not a little delay. Smile. Oh, I should have tagged you. I'll put it in the comment. We'll get started and we'll post. Right?
No.
All right. Hello and welcome back to Fear the Waves Inside the Wave show. I'm here with a friend of mine, Colin O'Carroll, offensive lineman for your Tulane football team. How are you doing, Colin?
I'm doing really good. Excited to play the game.
Yeah.
To watch.
It's going to be a good one tonight.
Yeah.
Colin, only a freshman, so did not make the trip. A lot of the team did. Some of the scout team did not. And Colin's an important player on the scout team. You've been playing center on scout team, but that's not your normal position, correct?
No, so I played guard in high school and tackle in high school. And I never played center before coming here. Coach McKissick though was like, you might play, so just start getting snaps in. So summer off season I was snapping a little bit. But yeah, I never really got into it. And then Gabe Fortson was a scout team with me, and he was the main center. And then he kind of got tweaked up a little bit, so I had to go in, and I've been there ever since. So yeah.
And what type of football are you usually snapping with?
Now it's usually a regular football, but the start of the year, because I didn't know how to snap, I was snapping a Nerf ball and just rocketing back just to block the nose tackle. Parker Peterson was really messing up my snap, so I had to lose a regular ball. But last like 7 or 8 games now, I've been good with snaps. So yeah, I'm all good now. So
don't rock it. Got a couple of people viewing, so thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. I went to practice a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, my God, Colin grew out of the Nerf ball. There's no more Nerf ball on the scout team, and now we're snapping a real football. That was exciting for me to see, and don't blame me for snapping a Nerf ball. I was like, this is really smart that the coaches are implementing this.
Yeah, I would it was originally because I was always just worried about the snap first and then, like, blocking, which is not really how, like, the teams that we're playing are focused on. So Coach Gass would just snap the Nerf ball or throw it back, doesn't matter where it goes, and just worry about the block. Just that's it. So it was really smart, and obviously I didn't really want to snap a Nerf ball. So on weekends and stuff, I practiced my snap and I tweaked it a lot, and I had probably 6 different ways of snapping it until I got it down. But yeah, now I got it down, so now we're doing good.
Awesome. And if you're watching live, we see a few people are watching live. I'm watching the comments, so feel free to drop some comments and ask Colin some questions while we're here at Bruno's Tavern. Wanted to thank our sponsor today, Bruno's Tavern, the official watch party of tonight's American Athletic Conference Championship, featuring Tulane football versus Army in West Point. But if you're here in NOLA, come on down to Bruno's Tavern for the game tonight. They got great food. I would probably say at least 15 screens. What do you think? 20 TV screens?
I would say like 15.
Some projectors. They've really gone all out,
Yeah.
done some great remodeling to make this the spot to watch Tulane football. And as I said, the official watch party spot of Tulane Athletics for tonight and partnering with Tulane alumni to bring a great crowd here. A lot of Tulane employees, including some in the Freeman School. So maybe you'll see some of your old professors, advisors, or staff members that you used to work with here at Tulane. Something you talked about on the scout team that I actually want to dive a little bit deeper into is Patrick Peterson messing up your rhythm. And I think that Parker Peterson is somebody that has barely got any attention from the media, including myself. So I'll take responsibility for that. We have not mentioned him too much on the podcast. We brought him up in the non-conference because Parker was somebody who had really not played too big of a role on the team until this year, and is somebody that has had a big role in this team. And I saw him in fall camp, and I was like, are we playing Parker Peterson this season, even though we've got Cam Hamilton and Javon Carter and Pat Jenkins and all these guys? And it was true. And it's not because anyone else is struggling. It's because Parker had such a great summer and came in great shape. So 3 tackles for him against Navy, a dominant win, and had 1 sack against USF. Why has Parker been so disruptive?
I think for me, and when we do good on good on practice, he goes against Vinny Murphy and stuff like that. He just crowds the ball because he's the nose, and Adonis and Eric, they also are nose, but Parker Peterson, I don't know, he just crowds it so well, and really teetering the line of offsides or not. It does a great job of it. So he really throws you off your game of your snap and trying to get on. So it's it's a lot more difficult to block him than any other person I've gone against. So I think that's a big reason, and he's just great with his hands. I mean, he's really good with pad level and just gets it hands in and then just push pulls you, and then you're on the ground, and then he is sacking the quarterback, which I'd like to see it a couple times tonight. So yeah.
All right, looking forward to it. You heard it right here first.
Yeah.
Parker Peterson's going to have a sack, maybe even a strip sack if we're lucky. I don't believe he's forced a fumble yet in his career, but he did recover a fumble against South Florida. How excited were you to see that? Oh,
it was awesome. And seeing his family, friends and family on the stands, screaming his name and stuff was awesome. And we get so aggressive in the practices, and I think that's gotten us closer. I think we're cool, and I think just seeing him succeed is dope, and just seeing the whole Tulane team succeed is cool. So it's awesome to see that.
We've been enjoying the rise and ascent from Parker Peterson this season. We got some comments on, so thanks. As you can see, Colin, we have a few people viewing live, which is really exciting. Elijah Baker, another Tulane offensive lineman, says, "What's up, COC?" And we've got some other commenters in the chat. Dagan Bruno says, "Colin's the GOAT." Dagan I tweeted out this morning that we were going to have a walk-on or scout team player on the show today, and asked for some questions, and Morgan Fost said, "I think I know who it's going to be, and I'm curious what the game plan is or how this player has played a role in the game plan." I'll pull up the actual comment, but I'm assuming they thought it was going to be Dagan Bruno, who I also would have had to love to have join us today. But Dagan's over in West Point for the game, so I'll have you answer this question for him. I'm going to pull up the exact question here, so bear with me. Morgan asked, what has been his favorite aspect of being part of the game planning, and what did he do to prepare himself for playing a role? So what has Dagan done to be able to mimic Bryson Daly, Army's quarterback?
I think, the main thing is that he'd done it before. You know what I mean? This was his high school thing, so the coaches know that, and he's been for Navy and in Army. He was the quarterback the entire time. And I think what was different about this week specifically was his aggression. he literally just ran through a brick wall every single time and just didn't care. And like in Navy, he wore a white jersey. He didn't wear a red jersey because the defense wanted to hit him. And this week he still wore a red jersey, but he went to town. Like he just because we all want to win. It's not just like the defense wants to win. Like we want to kick their ass. And so Dagan he got the ball and just ran with it. I think the aggression that he showed was the main thing. Yeah.
Not too often you see a quarterback in a white practice jersey not wearing the non-contact red jersey that even some of the position players time to time, if they're banged up, will wear in addition to the quarterbacks. Have you seen a quarterback not wear a red jersey anytime besides preparing for Navy?
No, it was definitely weird to see. But, I mean, he was the only quarterback going, and he pulled up the practice one day with a white jersey. It said 11 on it. I was like confused. I forgot that he was a quarterback for a second. But I mean, it makes sense. Like he's him and Bryson Daly obviously are great rushers for their teams, and Bryson Daly is the leading rusher for their team. So, I mean, that's a running back essentially. So, we have to simulate that essentially. So, yeah.
Yeah, and so Dagan Bruno played locally here, I believe at John Curtis High School. So he ran the triple option there in games.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
He had a lot of experience. Actually, we had Jamar McClure. He came down to scout team this week as well because he apparently ran it in his high school.
Wow.
And so he knew a lot of things and he was maneuvering and stuff for defense. It was really nice. But yeah, he has a lot of knowledge of it. So that was his thing. Yeah.
I didn't know they were running that at Goshen High School in Alabama, but good to know.
I didn't know that until a couple of days ago, but it's pretty cool.
Maybe we can pick up another running back for next year so we can mimic the triple option again, because Jamar McClure, I think he might be too good for scout team next year.
Oh, yeah.
Whether Mekhi Hughes and everybody comes back or not, I think that Jamar McClure is going to have, even if we bring back everybody, which hopefully is the case, I think that Jamar McClure is going to have a huge role on this team. I really liked what I've seen in practice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, watching him move and just his athleticism is insane. I wasn't expecting that, not from necessarily Jamar, but just from a freshman. He goes on good and he's dominating. It's just wow. He's a great player, dude. I'm excited to watch him play. Yeah.
Super, super explosive. Going back to the triple option here, how does Tulane prepare for it? Obviously you can mimic it in practice, but it's not the same as multiple guys that are going to be cadets in our United States military who have run this not only in practice all year, but also in games against some pretty talented teams and had success with it outside of Notre Dame.
I think in preparing for the triple option, we have scout team meetings every single morning, just ironing out the details of what we have to do. And it's not just for the triple option. We do that every week. But specifically there's an emphasis on going and paying attention, locking in on the details, because obviously triple option is a difficult offense to run, but also to defend against. So I think once we knew what to do, it was a lot more beneficial. So we knew that, and we understood that we had to know what to do in order for the defense to know what to do against Army tonight. So it was really fun seeing everyone just locked in and dialed in this week. On both sides of the field, the intensity was awesome. So yeah,
that was one thing I noticed too. I commented 2 weeks ago on the intensity at practice. I thought that that's been a big takeaway from my time seeing some practices this season. Gabe Fortson went on the Fear the Wave Jimmy O show and talked about how this is not comparable to one of the ACC schools, at least one ACC school, probably more, because it's not that Tulane practices at a lower intensity. They practice at a much higher intensity than one of the schools that Gabe Fortson previously was at. Yeah,
it is. It's insane, and it's not just for Navy and Army specifically. It was cranked up to 105. It was up there. But the intensity is always there. It's always up there. But it's a great thing because you really know like the value of like the scout team, I guess. You know what I mean? Like when we struggle on scout offense, the defense struggles the next game. No matter what happens, like they don't do nearly as well as they could. And then when we like, pick it up, kick their ass a little bit and really get on them, the next game, they are amazing. They get a lot of turnovers. They score touchdowns. Do all these things. So I think it wasn't like a worried point, but it was definitely a point of emphasis to really intensify practice this week and Navy, because we know how hard they work, how hard they play. So we know how intense they are, and I think simulating that obviously is a huge win for us. So I think that was a big thing for us. Yeah.
Awesome. Very tough opponents, but I believe that Tulane has a really, really good shot against Army. Shut out Navy 35-0 in Annapolis. Tulane had not shut out Navy in a very, very long time, and Navy had not been shut out since 2012, a really long time themselves. So a huge accomplishment, not only to shut them out, but also to score 35 points.
Yeah.
Did anything change on scout team for the O-line this week? I know they had 2 first-team all-conference O-linemen, including their center, who was picked ahead of Vinny Murphy, who I expected to be on the first-team all-conference.
Yeah, so I would say it wasn't about – I don't know if the game plan really changed that much, especially for me. There was – Navy had a lot more under center, and both centers I noticed – do 4-point stance just so they can like shoot off the ball. And so I did that as well this week, which I'm not really a fan of.
Can you explain what that is?
It's so you have your snap hand, and then you have your off hand on the ground instead of up, ready to shoot. So you have it on the ground as soon as the ball snap, you just go. And it's obviously really good for pad level and to block, but that's because Army runs the ball a lot, and if they were to pass and stuff, it's really not ideal to have a 4-point stance. So it's not something I'm necessarily used to because we're pretty balanced. We're pretty balanced offense at Tulane, so that's not something I'm like necessarily used to yet. But yeah, I think the main game plan was just it was running a lot more for Army, but there was also just a lot more shotgun in Army. There was entire scouting period for under center and then entire scouting period for shotgun, because they do it a lot more than Navy. So we had to work both of those, which I think I noticed that a lot actually, because it's not something I was used to. It's usually just a mix of both in all the periods that we do. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think that was the main difference in just like the way we ran the ball wasn't necessarily wide zone. Navy had a lot of wide zone things and like because they ran an option. But when we blocked head on because the running back was just going to go right off my ass and just go straight down if he had the ball. So I think that was like the main difference, but nothing really too crazy.
Interesting. And how else can Tulane win this game besides obviously stopping the triple option?
I think if we secure the ball, I think we're going to be good. I think once we establish that run game, because the run defense is good, but they got a couple banged up guys, and I'm obviously in the O-line room, so like I watch film on the D-line and I watch film on the O-line for scout team as well, and they got a good D-line, but they're banged up, and I think we can take advantage of that, and it's just establish a run game from the get-go. And I think once we do that and we get the time of possession, because we're both, I think we're 1 and 2 for time of possession in the conference.
We're second in the country.
In the country, and Army's 1.
Might be. I'd have to double check.
So I just think that's like an important part. If we have time of possession, I think we'll win this game. But then Coach Summerall says like +2 turnovers. We have to get turnovers because once they get the ball, it's our ball. We want that ball, of course. And then explosive plays are huge. I mean, Army doesn't throw the ball very much, but when they do, they launch it, and he's going to throw it no matter what. So I think that's a huge benefit that we have. I think we can win the explosive plays, and I think if we do those, then we'll win the game pretty handily, honestly. So
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Summerall has also never lost a game when he outrushes the opponent.
Yeah.
Tulane, in terms of EPA per rush, is 23rd in the country, and Army's defense is 88th. So as tough as they seem, I think they're better than what the metric shows. But I think that Tulane will have to get off to a quick start. Was not able to establish the running game versus Memphis, and that really hurt them last game, as well as losing the takeaway battle and the time of possession battle. Tulane had entered the game first in the country in time of possession, and then had about 7 or 8 minutes less than Memphis.
Yeah. I think the time of possession is huge for us, and obviously for Memphis, we just things just didn't really go our way, which it happens, and that's the past, and we're not really looking at it anymore. And we sulked for a few hours, only a day max, and then we moved on to this. And I think we're working hard. I think we understand that the keys of victory that we have are super important, and that's what we do for to win the game. So I think that's what we're gonna do tonight. I think we're gonna win.
Awesome. Me too. Great to see Green Wave Man in the chat. Colin, can you just – I should have started with this, but we were so excited to talk about a conference championship game.
Yeah.
Tulane's had 3 in 3 years, but it's really not often that you get to talk about a conference championship. They've won one since 1949, so this is really exciting. What do you study, and why did you choose Tulane?
So I'm studying business, and specifically sports management, something I'm interested in. I'm interested in what Isaac's doing here. I think it's an amazing thing. I think broadcasting is awesome. Journalism's cool. So that's something I'm really interested in. And I chose here. My mom played volleyball here in 1984 to 1988. She played volleyball, so she loves this place. I have ties here, and as soon as I got the call to come here, I was like, I have to. It's an amazing place. So I think the city of New Orleans was a huge win for me to be able to come here. The South, I like the warmth of the South. So I think staying close to home was cool, and having my mom be able to come to games and having my dad come to games is really important to me. So that, and then obviously the culture. I mean, the culture is like second to none here. Like, I don't think I've talked to some of the transfers from other schools, and I mean, this is a rare thing that like the entire team is so intertwined with each other, and there's not one person that hates or dislikes another person on the team. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because we're all just peers at the end of the day. No one's better than the other person, and I think that's a great thing. I think we get along really well, and I think it's awesome. So, yeah.
A lot of great reasons to come to Tulane.
Yeah.
A lot of similar reasons for me, and part of the reason why I stayed as well. There's a brand new sports management certificate in the B school, the business school, Freeman School of Business, that students can earn. Before we head out, I just want to talk about 2 more things. Coaches. First, John Sumrall. How has he played an impact on the culture? Yeah. And then also Greg Gasparotto, who had a speech that was featured on Welcome to Uptown. Yeah. That came out on YouTube yesterday.
Yeah.
Or ESPN Plus, sorry, and YouTube.
Yeah. I think Coach Sumrall, I mean, so I think I obviously wasn't here when Coach Fritz left. But I think the thinking was just like not necessarily who's Coach Sumrall, but like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, because they had Coach Fritz and they didn't, like, change is hard. So we, everyone had to buy in. And I think once he came here, just was like, listen, like, this is what we're due. And he shows a bunch of love to us. I mean, he's a great guy, and he cares about all of us. And I think that's a really special thing that not all head coaches do. And I think that culture change and that sense of urgency that he shows in every facet of life and football and sports and everything, I think it kind of leaked onto us, and especially during the gauntlet days, those were hard, and then summer off season was difficult. And I think the way he just led the team was just impactful for sure, because it just, I don't know, it makes me want to run through a brick wall for the guy. Like, I would die for Coach Sumrall, because the passion that he shows for the game and for us is and the coaching staff is impeccable. So I think it's an amazing culture that we're in, and I don't think he shifted the culture. I think the culture was here, but I think he amplified it. I think he amplified it, and I think that it's better for sure. I think he is the best coach in school history. I agree with that. I think he will be. Yeah.
Green Wave man and myself think the same thing.
Yeah.
But I will admit there's some work to be done. Tulane needs to go out and win this conference championship and get to 10 wins on the season, something that they've only done single-digit times in school history. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention quickly, it's pretty cool. We're sitting here at Bruno's Tavern. As I said earlier, you can see on the top right our sponsor for this show, Tulane, coming on the ticker on ESPN, Tulane versus Army, Michie Stadium Conference Championship, with the showing that the game is on ABC. Pretty cool. 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Make sure to tune in and tell us why Greg Gasparato is going to make sure that fans who tune in tonight is going to see a win.
I think if you guys haven't seen the video and the Welcome to Uptown show, I think it's amazing series that I think you all should watch. But the most recent episode was a video, a speech that he made to the team before the Memphis game, and it was just about urgency and gratitude. It was the most powerful speech I've ever heard from a coach. And I think the problem with some coaches is that like they don't necessarily humanize themselves. They're just coaches to us. But I think in that moment he was just a human and he was just a peer to us. And I think he opened up and he was being vulnerable because I don't know. I think that's what we needed. And I think that gets us so much closer when we all recognize that everyone has problems and everyone loves each other and is there for each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So him speaking like that, it moved me for sure. And it was powerful. And I think when we know that, and I think when we all play for each other, I don't think we're stoppable. I'm pretty sure nobody can beat us. So I think that's who we're going to play for today. Yeah.
Coach Gass. All right, Colin.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing I love more than Tulane football, and I know that you all do too, is Tulane football winning a conference championship, something they did 2 years ago at home, and we're looking forward to seeing it be done in Michie Stadium. Colin O'Carroll, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Berkeley Prep High School graduate and current Tulane freshman scout team offensive lineman. This was Isaac Popper, Green Wave Insider from Bruno's Tavern.
Thank you.